Hey everyone, Kevin Sexton here, the Toy Smuggler, and this is my pocket money memory. And everyone knows, if you watch my show, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, Motu fan. I love working on them and fixing them, and I love saving old toys. But my story comes from back in 1979. I was 7 years old, and before that, a couple years before that, I used to live really close to my grandmother, and every weekend I would stay with her. And she owned a restaurant, and she'd take me down there, and she's the one who introduced me to Saturday morning cartoons. And when Star Wars comes out, just changed the way toys were done and how they was marketed. And anyway, she was the one who spoiled me on getting every Star Wars figure. Well, but we ended up moving away, and I was gone for a little over a year. And so every chance I got, I tried to go back and stay a weekend with her. It didn't happen a whole lot since we moved. Well, this is '79. And I was down there one weekend, and and I was being good. I was always a mischievous child, and one of my mama's longtime friends came over, and he seen me that I was there again and stuff. And one of the things he asked me, he said, "Have you been a good boy today?" Because I wasn't a good kid when I was little. I was very mischievous. So, but anyway, I said yes, and my grandmother come in. She goes, "Oh, he's been good today," and everything. So, funny thing is, the guy pulls out his wallet and hands me 3 $1 bills, which don't sound like much, but back in those days, if you do the, what $3 meant was today is like $10.30 some cents if you do the inflation calculator. So, not too many people go around handing a 7-year-old $10 anymore even nowadays. So, to me, it felt like $1 million. I'm like, yes, I can go to the store and get me a new Star Wars figure. So anyway, later that evening, my mama, she takes me to the same store that she always took me in that little town to get the Star Wars figures. So we go in, I go straight to the corner of the aisle where the Star Wars were kept. So I'm sitting there going over and I'm looking at them, and I'm standing there for a few minutes because the problem I run into, this was in between episode, the number 4, number 5, A New Hope and Empire. So I kind of had all the figures, and the new figures for the new movie hadn't come out yet. So I'm like, okay, then at that point, I think I was just looking for a stormtrooper, something, the army build a little bit. But anyway, my mama's to the left, she's kind of looking around the toy house. She goes, "Oh, wow, I hadn't seen that in a long time." I'm like, It caught my attention that my mama was making a comment at a toy. So I turned around and looked to see what she was looking at, and was this a line that I never heard of, and it come from an old TV show that at that point, I don't recall ever hearing about. So anyway, my pocket money memory was changed forever when I looked and I seen this right here, the 1979 vintage Flash Gordon. And that's when my grandmother started telling me about the old black and white cereal that Buster Crabbe used to do. And then, and it took years later for me to find it on, I think, the Superstation, TBS or something like that, before I finally got to actually start watching it, and I was hooked forever on it. And so that $3 that I got as a 7-year-old, instead of buying Star Wars, which that's what I was all about, was this Flash Gordon. I know it's got the wrong gun and stuff. It's from the Pirates of the Caribbean. And she actually ended up, I used my money to buy Flash Gordon, and my grandmother bought 3 other figures. Thung, the tiger, the lion deep guy, and Emperor Ming, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the lizard girl, come with the staff, if I'm not mistaken. So boom, I had 2 good guys and 2 bad guys to start off. So, and I've long lost those, and this is the only survivor. I ended up finding him in a suitcase somewhere, and so I don't know what happened to the others. But so anyway, even though I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and ended up later on, and I think really this character right here was the bridge from going from Star Wars to Motu, because he's kind of a representative of both. He's outer space, but yet, like, I think Motu stuff has a lot of barbarian and Renaissance feel to it, in which, Buck Rogers, he was true sci-fi fantasy. So, which is cool because they had a lot of old knights and armor and stuff like that. Even some of the robots had a knight look about them and stuff. So, once again, my name is, like I said, Kevin Sexton, the Toy Smuggler, and my pocket money memory is the vintage 1979 Flash Gordon figure.